Meh. Just shot a doe. They were moving. I kind of had to yell at them to get them to slow down because they were moving up the hill. There's about 3 or 4 of them. And I shot one right before the tree line. I saw her go down, but I can't see her. I don't know if she's down right there, if she got back up. But she definitely went down. Oh man, it's so cold. It's like 28 degrees. It's 8:30, so I'm gonna give it some more time. It's cold enough to where she can sit. So I'm gonna sit for a little bit longer, see if a buck comes through. Man, yeah. Got some meat in the freezer. Alright, I've given it about another hour and a half and haven't seen anything else. So that's about all I'm gonna give it. I ranged it as about 175 yards where I shot her. I'm gonna hike out there, and when I shot her, she rolled. It looked like she rolled downhill. She disappeared behind that tree line. I was looking through the binoculars, couldn't see nothing, so I'm hoping I made a good shot. She's laying up there. She didn't get back up. So let's go find out. This is not good. That's not what you hope to find, which is nothing. I gotta find where I shot her and find some blood. Okay, so I came down to where I shot her at. No blood, nothing. Couldn't find nothing else. So I heard something downhill, and I kind of hiked down, not towards it, but kind of away from it in a circle. And when I did, I got downhill. She jumped up. I could see her. She jumped up and took off, and just kept on running downhill with the stream. So I was like, oh crap, I made a bad shot. I threw up my gun, but it's so thick in here, I couldn't freaking do it. But anyways, hiked all the way downstream, probably a good mile with no blood. Figured I'd double back, and when I doubled back, I walked right by her. She's freaking right there, wrapped around a tree. So she didn't go far from where I jumped her up, maybe not even 50 yards, I'd say 30. So I'm not too sure. I'm about to find out where I hit her at. But I was worried. I walked so far with no blood, just kept following tracks and fresh poop, thinking, well, maybe she'll live then, hoping to eventually find some blood or something. So I was hiking back out all disappointed and just stumbled on her coming back. When I first went in, I didn't come exactly where she was, and she must have been behind that bush over there where I couldn't see her when I was following her down, because I jumped on the other side of the stream and went that way, because I think I was already on that other side and didn't really think to check. But anyways, we got a doe down. She kind of stiff. Man, where did I hit this deer? Got the doe up the mountain. That's what it felt like. I think that's gonna wrap it for this one. I appreciate y'all watching. This is my first official deer kill on camera, so pretty excited about that. Hopefully more to come. Got just a handful of days left to hunt, so I'm gonna hammer away at it, and hopefully we can't get one more. Fill that freezer up. So we'll catch you next time. So, gut shot. This is why you want to try to make the best shot possible, is because it makes a freaking mess, especially when you gut it. You get all that stuff all over your meat, and then you have to cut some of it out. And here's the other side. So that's why she didn't leave much of a blood trail, is because of that. So we'll still get plenty of meat off of her, obviously, but you know, you want all the meat if you can help it. What I really wanted to say is I have a theory as to tracking that deer, what happened, only because while I was editing, I noticed one thing, kind of a landmarker. There was a rub on a tree not far from where I jumped that deer up. And anyways, when I came back and found her, I noticed that rub right there, but only because this happened several years ago, I was thinking about it, and I think what happened is when I went downhill to go try to find her, and I jumped a deer up, what I thought was her. So let me back up. A couple years ago, I shot a doe that was with a spike and a cutover. And I think she didn't run far, maybe 10, 15 yards, and she dropped. It was a double lung shot. She dropped pretty quick, if not instantly. I honestly can't remember, so many years ago. But there was a spike running with her. And when I shot her, the spike kind of started taking off running, but then ended up going back to her and bedding down next to her. I don't know if they were brother and sister or what, because she was probably a year-old doe. She wasn't very old by the looks of it. And so anyways, so then back up to today or yesterday when I shot this deer and I went down that hill, what I thought I jumped up, I think was one of the does that was with her and went and bedded back down with her. So that's why, because when I jumped that deer up, she was gone. She ran pretty fast and pretty hard, and I threw my gun up trying to get a shot at her. And it just wasn't making sense to me, and I thought about it today when I noticed that when I was editing. I was like, that was not that same deer, because when I came, I wasn't gone maybe 20 minutes, 30 max, and she was pretty stiff when I came back and found her, which would make sense if she had been there for the whole hour and a half that I sat. I think that deer, one of those other does came back and bedded down beside her, and I jumped her up and she took off, and I was so honed in on that deer, thinking it was her, I didn't even think to look over there on the other side of that stream for her. So that's my theory of what happened. If that's ever happened to y'all, you know, let me know. Please share. But that's only happened to me one other time. And I think that's what happened yesterday, is I jumped up a deer that was bedding down with her. But anyways, I just had to share that. See y'all.